AGS Ultimage, brought to you by Essential Oils and Essences. Infuse your environment with their natural Reiki and crystal-infused Yogini Girl essential oil sprays to lift the energy of your space and body. Available in 4 unique scents: invigorating citrus and herb bliss, soothing floral calm, intoxicating and sensual love, and classic clearing. Try one today.
Hey Sagittarians, this is Hal for HES Ultimage, and this is your channeled message for the month of January 2016. Hey guys, for personal readings you can go to hesultimage.com. They start at just $20. Some of them are through email, some are through Skype, depending on the breakdown and the type of message that you're getting. So if you want, you can check that out. Okay, all right, let's get started with your message. And this is a very unique month, and I want to make sure that you guys know that this can manifest into very polar opposite ways. So I'm going to give you examples for both, keeping in mind that when I give examples, they are strictly examples to show you how energy can manifest through this abstract way of which I'm going to describe it to you, okay? So I'm going to kick it off with this, and then I'll give you the 2 radical examples of how this can be incredibly different. Because this is the thing, like, okay, in the world period, there is no such thing as a literal polar opposite or morality in the eyes of the universe at large. So the universe has no concept of good or bad for people. It just has what it has, and people are moved to certain places to be in certain places. In your case, in January, whatever's happening to you, you might perceive as good or bad, and like maybe other people would perceive as good or bad, but as far as which you're getting this month, I can't say. Some are getting one and some are getting the other, okay? Either way, you're going to make it through fine, but I mean, I got to tell it to you this way so you understand when I start that this could take 2 very completely different turns, okay? All right, so this is universal now. This part's universal to all Sagittarians this month. All right, first one is something big. All right, so no matter who's getting it, it's something that's big and is going to be influencing your life in a major kind of way. Something that you thought both wasn't good and or that you couldn't make happen or couldn't be possible will wind up being made possible and or real, okay? So that's the first part of this equation. Something that you thought, you know, wasn't for you or wasn't what you wanted to experience in life or something like that, or that you couldn't do or felt that wasn't in your lifeline or in your, you know, wheelhouse, in your, you know, periphery of what you planned for, will wind up happening or become possible through your circumstances. I'll give you a few examples of this now so you can understand that it's like, that there are many shades this can take. The first thing that I immediately thought of is when a person goes their whole life and doesn't want to have a child, then all of a sudden they wind up being in the position where they could have a child and then decide all of a sudden, oh wait, like actually I'm going to go through with this. That's one way this energy manifests for people in life in general. Because there's more here, but I want to start giving you examples so you understand how this is functioning. Some people go, oh, you know, this is the type of job I'm always going to have my whole life, and screw everything else, and get very focused on that. Then all of a sudden they're placed in circumstances that, you know, they're displaced in one way. They wind up, you know, hitting the ground on a different kind of place in a different kind of area, and maybe they're a lot happier doing it. Or, you know, maybe they wind up picking up like this new job that teaches them valuable life skills that makes them appreciate people more and understand life in a much more influential and much more, sometimes much more enlightened way. Or sometimes they might learn, you know, tough love stuff that we have to learn in our, you know, in our lifeline and in our timeline, as I would call it. I'm trying to think of maybe one other way that this could function for you. Oh, okay, another thing. This is always good for love. Sometimes people go, oh, this person who's in my periphery is the only person for me, and oh, they're so great, and everything like that. Then all of a sudden that person winds up showing colors that you don't like so much, and you go, oh my god, I thought I was gonna, really be into this person, and now I need to shift my focus. Or if you're in a relationship, it can be, you always, okay, this is very different, but I want to give you both examples because this is all falling into this category, guys. Sometimes when you're in a relationship, you'll go, oh my God, my partner is second to God and everything like that. And then all of a sudden they change. This could just be in an ordinary relationship. Sometimes this can be in a long relationship where all of a sudden they show colors that you don't particularly find that appealing, and you go, oh my God, I was so, determined to keep this in one direction, and now I see that I'm not so sure I want to keep going in that direction. Or, on the flip side, you might be the kind of person who's been in a relationship for a while or got into a relationship under the perception that your partner was somehow at a deficit, and you were like, oh, I was just giving this person a chance, or oh, my husband, wife, never contributes enough, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I hear this a lot from people in long established relationships, that sometimes they might take their partner for granted or say that their partner isn't working hard enough or giving them enough attention, and etc., and can wind up being incredibly surprised, even to their own feeling of, oh my God, I was so wrong. How could I have been so wrong? And feeling like even self-conscious about how wrong you were about it. All of these are falling under the energy, okay? So all of these are alive and well in the possibilities of what you're going to experience this month. Basically, something you took for granted as being, ironclad, totally, you were just so sure of it. All of a sudden, things are going to seem not quite as, locked in. And in some cases, and again, no matter what, it's going to be a big thing. But, in some of these cases, it's going to wind up being something where it's like, you're going to be really woken up and you'll feel either, okay, I'll get into the other parts of this, because it's like there's fear, there's opportunity, there's everything. You guys are going through a really big month of, like, I would say changes, but also like some eye-opening stuff. All right, okay, next. When you let go of fear, you can create. All right, so no matter what's happening, when we feel that sense of shock and suddenness of, oh my God, something like it's like you just got a big piece of news and you don't know how to handle it, or you just heard like the extra of what's going on, but it's for your life, and you're getting this like incredible like somebody just turned on a flashlight in the dark of your mind. It can be a little, like, startling, okay, to say the least. But again, once you let go of the fear associated with all of this, you can move forward, you can create, you can, spur other opportunities or other realizations and other later decisions, I would say, or later, okay. I always use the analogy of a chess piece to describe to people what's happening in life. Basically, everything that happens to us is purely intended to get us to move our chess piece to other pieces on the board and other places on the board. When we're moving our chess piece to other pieces, it means that we have to influence other people and meet other people and interact with other people in order to ultimately influence their lives and have them influence ours. Also, when we move our piece to different places, whether that's through circumstances with work or relationships or family, or just, moving to a new town, things like that. We're moving our piece there in order to be in the right place for new circumstances and new experiences. I feel like this month you're going to wind up, receiving information and stuff and realizing certain things that make you understand that eventually you're going to be taking your piece and putting it into different places and making moves, so to speak. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next. Now you are moving up. All right, so regardless of how you view this month, it is moving you in a forward motion, and you should know that. So no matter what, it's moving you forward, and that's the whole point. Okay, next. Focus on the choices you are making when it comes to what you feel is against you. Okay, now that's quite literally, I think, when it comes to the perception of how people see what they're going through. Okay, because I literally got, you know, the choices you're making when it comes to what you feel is against you. So you might feel like, circumstances are getting out of your hands, out of control, and or that you're starting to feel powerless to the whim of the universe, the whim of, uh, our lifeline, timeline. Other people say fate, destiny, spirit, whatever. Um, but the point is that you're going to feel like things are somehow out of control and that you're being like okay. I feel like you feel like you're pitted into this kind of challenge, even if that challenge is revamping your life or revamping your circumstances, even if that's in ways just because you chose to. Because again, in some of those examples I gave already, they were decisions that you're making on your own, but there's things that you can't ignore anymore, or you can't turn a blind eye to, okay? This can be a really great thing, and I felt like, okay, I have to tell you, like, I felt really emotional about it, so it's like, it can be something that's very emotional, but, it's something that can also be very, again, it's like that idea that it's like, it can be very emotional, but again, it can be something that really turns the light on for you. Okay. All right, next. If you are dramatic, you are exposed, okay? So this is what I was getting for this part. It's the idea that if you react in a very grand, very large way to this, you're going to feel like you're in a free fall, okay? Or that you're like, that you've got no armor on, you've got no security, I'm gonna say, is what it feels like. So it's like emotionally on the inside, that's how you're going to feel. That if you expose your feelings really, really grandly to a person, to people, to, whatever the circumstances, or if you act radically in a moment, how they describe this concept of crime of passion. I feel like this month the idea would be, faux pas of passion would be the category that this particular energy would fall under, where it's like you might wind up, saying something very dramatic, and it winds up, making you feel really like you were naked in that moment, okay? All right, I'm going to have to continue with that one a little bit more. If you want to grow, this is an opportunity to evolve and work on things that you need to refine. Okay, this was carrying over from that exposed thing. So I feel like for you guys for this month, for Sagittarians, exposure will become an important theme. And it's going to be something where, okay, ultimately you might have to go through it in order to reach the next, okay. I want to say, okay, that's going to be for some people. In order to kind of reach the next act or the next scene of what you're going through, sometimes you're going to have to be exposed and you're going to have to just be vulnerable, okay? And, and, you know, again, because it's tied into the evolution energy, I have to say, even though you might not be comfortable with it, and now that I think about it, I know a lot of Sagittarians who aren't necessarily comfortable showing their kind of soft insides, kind of like a crab that has like a hard shell and then a soft inside. I know that's crab's cancer, but it doesn't matter. I know a lot of Sagittarians who possess this kind of energy, where it's like they feel like if they, speak completely and utterly without any filter, okay, to expose their more tender or vulnerable feelings that then for some reason, either A, they're putting upon others, or B, they're somehow viewed as weaker in some way. It's not true. We're all human and we're all going through things and we're all learning new things all the time. Because I feel like for you this month, it's about, you're going to be learning new things and you're almost going to be like, oh my God, what do I do with this? Am I going to like change my whole life? Am I going to, am I going to do something really different now? Am I going to, take some steps into new territory? And like, what am I going to do with this? But it's going to be okay. I mean, you just have to kind of figure out where your piece is going to wind up going and the kind of shades that you want your life to be taking now, okay? Because that's really important, okay? All right, next. If we have support, we can continue moving forward. Okay, so it's funny, when I wrote this down, I didn't really realize the connections, and that happens when I channel. It's like I write down the key points, and then when I talk it out, it just comes through. So the idea is you need to be able to rely on others at this time in order to get the support you need and the, okay, maybe the perspective, maybe the pick me up even that you need to move forward in a direction that's okay, that's letting you make the decisions necessary to get your piece in the right place. All right. Next, if you are lost, try to revamp any pent-up habits or obsessions. And this is very specific and very, very unique, what I got for this channel, so I'll just talk through it, okay? Because this is a tricky one. When you're a channeler, you can get images that are only specific and unique to who you are as an individual to express the right energy. And I'll describe to you what I got and what this is going to mean. If you are lost, okay, okay. This whole month we were talking about this. It's gonna feel like sometimes you feel like your GPS is recalculating and you don't know where it's recalculating to. And it's that moment where you're like, oh my god, where am I supposed to drive now? Okay? And again, it could be really, okay. It can be scary, it can be exciting, it can be both. It can be scary and exciting, it can be bewildering, but also, wind up being something that gets you, where you need to be, etc. Okay. I gotta go into the energy now, guys. These revamping any pent-up habits would mean things that are like really reasserted in you again and again. So again, and I already described this in the beginning, guys. It's like certain things that you felt were ironclad and certain things that you thought were, again, taken for granted were just going to be that way just because. You have to understand that this is a month where things are going to be shaken up, and then you have to understand that, things are going to change and life changes, okay? And then the energy I got specifically was the energy of Thomas Edison. And through my, cognitions and information I've received through life about Thomas Edison, it's the energy, and I got this energy too, and I gotta just say it, the energy of paranoia, the energy of obsession, the energy of being so focused on something that you lose sight of what is really, the big picture, what's important, what's reality, what's fiction. Because I'll just tell you guys this for fun facts. It's like Trivial Pursuit for the new millennium. There's a lot coming out about Thomas Edison where, he was so focused on being successful that he would stop at nothing to get his way, to get what he wanted, to... Okay, I'll just give this to you. In an episode of Drunk History, you can see that Thomas Edison commissioned all of these different engineers and inventors to invent stuff and put his name on it, basically. And it sucks, but, history is, the more information that people get, they realize what the truth is of history and how it's been beautified, whatever. That's not so much about the energy. The energy is the idea that you're so focused that you want this one outcome or this one thing that you'll stop at nothing to get it. And at the end of the day, maybe you need something else, okay? And I have to give that to you, because that's the energy that's really coming through with this last part. It's like if you're so focused on this one thing that you want, then you're like going to pretty much drive yourself nuts, or that you're going to, that fine line that one crosses with obsession and determination. Because again, it's like, it's one thing to be determined. Trust me, as a person with a lot of Capricorn and a lot of Taurus, I have plenty of stubbornness, and I have plenty of determination and tunnel vision and focus. But at the end of the day, we need to be able to be open to the fact that life moves us in places, okay? And it's not a mistake. So for you for this month, you need to let go of that determination of like, I need to do this much and I need to be this thing and I have to be in this place, and open up to all the possibilities available to you, okay? Because you're going to be, okay, recalibrating, rerouting, recalculating this month. And it's going to be a journey, and it's going to be, a lot of different highs involved. But either way, you're going to be able to make it through, all right? Okay, so that said, I will see you later.